Hey yo, Shalom, all praise to Yahweh, Hashem Yahushua, Hashem Kakadash. That one to the apostles of GreatMillStone, man. Shalom to the Arkham out there doing the work in sincerity and truth. I just got just a video, just going into like faith, because I was reading through Daniel, like chapter 3, you know, about basically, you know, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego getting thrown into the furnace. And you know, it's a hard story still, because it's pretty much like, because faith is an aspect of this truth that a lot of these other guys like to forget about. It's like, if you, even with, especially with these fucking stupid Christian twats, these guys especially, they don't have any form of faith in their approach to this to the Bible. So they're really just not even dealing with anything even close to the truth. They're just dealing with that Babylonian mysticism that's basically passing for the, you know, the Roman Catholic Church. So yeah, let me I'll start here, man. Daniel 3, and then let me start from verse 8. It says, "Wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. They spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the golden image." So basically, this carnal fuck Nebuchadnezzar, basically, he made it so that he made a statue of himself, because, you know, when he received the breakdown that he was, you know, one of the he was at, like, basically one of the greatest kingdoms on the planet Earth ever. His pride obviously swelled up, so he made the statue, and he said, "Look, man, whenever them tunes play, you got to bow down and worship his statue." Which, you know, that's pretty much in the modern day now. It's that Caesarea. That's the image, man. Like, everyone's basically, all these guys in the church, that's the image of reverence. When you're using that word Jesus, that's really this crusty white guy that you're worshiping and reverencing. You ain't really worshiping the Yahushua. You're not reverencing the you know, anything to do with the Bible. That's basically just that's that white image that's been placed up, man. And, you know, everyone, all our people now, by and large, 2/3 are scraping them knees, are fucking sliding all up and down on the floor to bow down and worship that, man, and the so-called white man. And it said, "What? And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, that he shall be cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace." And it's funny, because now in the modern day, if you do actually bow down and worship, that's when you're gonna get in that fiery furnace. If you're basically gonna, like, you know, cling to the so-called white man's way of life and ride out for him, then you're gonna be thrown into that lake of fire and brimstone, man, and that nuclear destruction. It's funny. It said, "There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy powers, nor worship the golden image that thou hast set up." Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and that these men should, they brought these men before the king. So, you know, basically they weren't down with, because they'll men of faith. They basically have faith, hey, the Lord's gonna look after them. Because even when they got there, it was like, what? Hey, the Lord just put them in that position, man. They just basically they got nabbed up in captivity, but then the Lord basically had them get to them exalted positions within that empire, man. And what was that other thing I was gonna say? Well, they were men of faith. They basically were just, they left. Hey, man, they were just like, hey, man, we can't come against our power and just start bowing down to images, you know, molten images. Man have to be about, you know, reverencing Yahweh Hashem Yahushua and doing what it do for him, rather than just, you know, some carnal things. Then it said, then Nebuchadnezzar in his rage, it says, verse 14, Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast in the same hour into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. And who is that power that shall deliver you out of my hands? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our power whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy powers, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. So basically it was a thing where they weren't even saying like, look man, the Lord's going to cut, Lord's got me covered. And the thing is, that's what these stupid Christians are doing. They're saying, you know, I'm saved. I'm covered in the blood of Jesus. Them guys ain't saved from shit, man. Basically, they broke it down to just like, look, man, hey, man, the Lord, if the Lord's going to save us, he saves us. But at the end of the day, we ain't going to bow down to your molten images, man. We ain't going to bow down to your false idols. And that's how you got to be. Because the thing is, hey, man, what we're in is it's going to come to the point with that chip. Esau's going to be like, okay, well, so what's up? You want shit? You want to take that chip, or you want to get that head lopped off? Or you might start ripping your fingernails off, all them things. You just got to leave it to, hey man, whatever it is, you ain't going to take that chip. And then like, yo, the Lord is going to have to watch out for you, man. Because, hey, that's all you can do, man. That's all you can do. You just got to leave it to Yahweh Hashem. You got to have faith. He's going to look after you, and you're basically going to be able to ride out, man. That's what we're being tempered for now. And it said what, verse 19, then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heat. So, some ultimate heats. And he commanded the most mighty men that were his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. So man had to basically face the judgment, because the thing is like, up until that point, when they're being bound up and they're being walked towards a furnace, I'm sure at any point they could have said, no, I'm going to bow down, I'll bow down to it, fam, I'll bow down. So that's basically, you just got to have conviction, integrity, man. And the thing is, that's because a lot of our people, that's the thing that's been lost, man. That's like how was the gold become dim, man. Like that Lamentations 4, I believe. Jake is basically, they've gone from that honourable state, which at one point Jake was. Imagine some of these grimy ass niggas were riding out. That you see these fucks. They actually would have been riding out, even if they might have done it. Not even if they're 2/3 and they might have just been doing it just to do it. But then they would have actually been observing certain things or carrying themselves in a certain manner. They wouldn't be moving like a complete gremlin. But that's the men that the Lord's raising up, man. Men of integrity, men of good character, man. That's what it's about, and that's the thing. This thing's about basically working towards and striving towards to be that, man. Because this is a thing where it's like when it comes down to crunch time, hey man, you want to be firm in what you're doing, what you're riding out for, and then hoping the Lord will look after you, man. That takes faith. Faith, basically. You don't even know what's getting ready to come to pass, but you just gotta be like, hey man, whatever it is, hey man, the Lord will hold me through that. Because that's how these men are moving, man. And it says what? Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent and the furnace exceedingly hot, the flame of the fire slew these men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So it was like the epicness of the flames they were cast into is that the men had to dash them in. Then the flame must have just, and then these men got smoked by that flame. That's an epic flame. So that means this ain't no joke. It's not like, you know, you might have like just like a barbecue where you got like the hot coals and then you got the net over it, or you have a guy walking over hot coals or some shit. That ain't just like some hot coals or like, you know, just a little flame where you can just like kind of dance around it. This is like epic flames where it's just, you're getting incinerated, but the bones getting burnt up, you're getting dropped dead. But then man rolled it out, and that's the faith that you got to be striving for, man, praying for, hoping the Lord delivers onto you, man. And it said, then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished and rose up in haste, and spake, and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? And he answered and said unto the king, True, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt, and the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. So he saw there was an angel up in there. Hey, watch him, man. Keep a man clean. Keep a man unharmed. So hey, that's the thing is that's similar to like us going out in the street, man. Because basically, when you're out there on the street, you're out there in the elements, man. If someone were to run up and machine gun you down, then they can actually do that. You just got to have faith. Hey, man, the Lord's watching over you. He's basically gonna have you doing what you're doing, man. Because like even when we're out there, if the cops come up, they just you have to be like, oh, whatever, is what it is, and just deal with them as amicably as possible, and just do what you're doing. Because you can't, even if they come up, you can't just start saying okay, and you can't start chopping up the doctrine. You just got to have faith. Hey man, I'm gonna be out here blazing fire on this place, and the Lord's gonna watch out for me. A lot of people, they don't have the faith to do that and go out, or some of them, only when it's the height of summer, they're going to be out there. He said, Then Nebuchadnezzar came near the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High Power, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth from the midst of the fire. The princes, the governors, and captains, and king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was a hair on their heads singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire passed on them. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who hath sent his angel, and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word, and yielded their bodies, that they might not serve, nor worship any god except their own power. So that's, hey man, this thing's about faith. This thing's about basically, it's about following Yahweh Hashem Yahshua's instruction, man. You gotta do what you gotta do out here. You can't really be watching. It's like, for me, it's like I'm like, yo, I'm just out here doing this work, and then hey, the Lord takes care of things, man. Because I'm in this thing for too long of a time. I've been in it for a few years, so I've seen over the course of time. It's like, yo, the Lord will just move how He moves, man. You might end up fucked up at one point, then hey, man, the Lord will hook you up on the next point, man. So it's like you can't really just be in a thing where you're kind of striving for or trying to work towards something. I found that kind of an approach, from what I've seen, just from my meager experience, that tends to yield worse results. So this, hey man, this is a thing. It's a thing of faith, man. You gotta leave a lot of things. You gotta leave to Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, man. It's funny because like last week, the brother Rakaya Kwan was saying about basically talking about when you first come in. I think it was Ramar still saying like a lot of things when you first come in is they weren't even like certain breakdowns weren't even there, man. Like a lot of revelation weren't broken down. The apostles did like the Revelation 9 breakdown afterwards, and then like afterwards they went through and did like the whole series. But there was a lot of things in Genesis, a lot of things in like the Genesis. There was only I think the first 3 chapters maybe that was broken down. There was a lot of things out there that man just didn't know, and you just had to roll with have faith that yo, this is the truth. And then over the process of time, certain things came out, man. So it's this is a thing where you can't have a carnal mindset. Like try and take this thing like it's a university degree. You got to deal with it how the Lord deals with it, man. And basically, faith is integral or central and absolutely necessary to this thing, man. So I'll leave it there, man. I'll leave it there. So all praise to Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Hashem Kakadash Shalom.